You are listening to Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Canvas Me, where we go behind the scenes to explore the human side of beauty professionals, learn how they found balance in their lives, overcame obstacles, and created communities that transcend the ordinary. Hosted by Canvas Me co-founders Jen and Matt Martinelli alongside Canvas Me directors April and Megan, Making It is your guide to navigating the ever-evolving world of beauty.
Welcome to Making It, where beauty industry professionals share their personal stories with us. I'm Megan, your host for today's beautiful story. I'm hosting Kim Layton today, who is the Vice President of Ogle Schools for 9 locations in Texas. She has over 30 years experience in the beauty industry, ranging from being a stylist behind a chair to where she got to today. And you may ask, how did she get to where she is today as Vice President of Ogle? Well, that is what she is going to share with us, along with all of the twists and turns of her beauty industry story. She's also going to share some insight on leadership of such a large group of schools, how to deal with different teams and personalities, and where she sees the future of the beauty industry going. So I can't wait for you to hear Kim's story today. Hey, Kim, welcome to the podcast of Making It. I am so excited to have you here with us today. Really thankful for you to take the time and spend with us. So I can't wait to get into your story with over 30 years of experience. I know you have a ton to talk about, but I have to start out the podcast with our question of, do you feel you've made it?
Well, I am proud of what I've accomplished so far, but I really feel like I have so much more that I aspire to do. Like every day I'm like setting new goals. So that's a yes and a no at the same time.
Yeah, I totally get it. And I feel like so many people kind of answer in a similar way of, feeling fulfilled where they are, but also knowing that tomorrow and the future is still unwritten pretty much. So it's really awesome to kind of have that perspective and know that you're still writing your story. So very good, very good. Well, I said before that you have over 30 years experience, and I know our listeners are really excited to hear about your story and just how you got into the industry and how you got to be where you are today. Vice President of Ogle Schools, leading 9 schools in Texas. Like, I cannot even fathom what that's like. So we're going to dive into that a little later. But go ahead and share your story with us.
Sure, yeah. And I had to write that down because I was like, oh my gosh, 3 decades, and I don't want to miss any of the stops along the way. So my very second job after fast food was a shampoo assistant. I was 15 years old, and I got a job at a salon that our family would go to. And so our family didn't have a lot of luxuries. We only went out to dinner when it was somebody's birthday. Luckily, we had a large family, but we had all girls. So we did splurge on getting our hair done. And after fast food, which I did enjoy the service industry, and I enjoy being around people. I guess they must have had an opening or something. I don't remember, but I was like, Mom, you're just going to have to drive me. It was like 30 minutes away from the house. And so she drove me until I got my license. But I started off as a shampoo assistant, and I graduated. I kept that job until I graduated high school. I played soccer, and I went to college, and I went off to college, played soccer, but bombed academically. So if I could have stayed in school, but I actually had to pass a bunch of classes and a couple I didn't. So I came back and was trying to figure out my path. And I was just drawn to beauty school. And at the time, looked in the phone book, found a location, went, dragged my dad to come along. I think he was still in shock because I was the tomboy of the family. He was like, you're going to do what? And went to beauty school. So I got my license. I was still pretty young. I was 19. And I was in Virginia at the time, moved from Virginia to Florida, and started working behind the chair. And I worked at a value priced chain that focused on haircuts, and I really enjoyed it. I got to see a lot of people. I learned very quickly. You give a good shampoo, you sit towards the front, you have referrals, and I loved tip money. Every day left and got to go home with a pocket full of a change. So
yeah,
I also found out that when you're young and responsible and you show up and you do good things, they then give you more responsibility. Next thing, they give me a key to the salon. They asked me to start covering shifts, and I quickly got into management. So by the time I was 20, I had earned a spot on the management team, and I was invited to operational training, which I really feel like I look back and that really changed the course of my career in the beauty industry, because I didn't really hear about management when I went to beauty school and didn't know much about it, but they really poured into us. And I just remember hearing so much about, dress for the job that you want to have, not the one that you have. And at the time, being just 20, I really had to command the room and more respect from the folks that I worked with. So really enjoyed that, and then just continued to grow in my career and had progressive growth where I was a multi-unit manager by the time I was 21. I moved back to Virginia and was able to go and work for a larger organization. And at that time, stayed on the operational side and enjoyed that. And I think, my early 20s, I had 16 locations that I oversaw. But there was a specific project that the company needed additional trainers for, and I signed up. And I don't know if I signed up or I was voluntold to participate, but either way, I got a taste of training, and I really enjoyed it. And I, at that point, fell in love with it. We were teaching customer service and enjoyed doing operations and training, and realized that, wow, my operations improved the more that I trained people, and the more that I learned about training, the more that I was able to help people with their business. So I had opportunities with that organization, both on the operations side as well as the training side, the technical side. So enjoyed that for about a dozen years, and I got a wild hair, and I thought I would try entrepreneurship and have my own business on the aesthetic side. And I did enjoy that, but I did miss, being around a larger number of people and having others to work with and be challenged. So I was lured back to the corporate environment, and so spent some time learning a little bit about franchising at that point. So that was exciting for me. And then I was recruited to come to Texas to work for another large organization. And at the time, I had learned a little bit about franchising, and this was a very large franchise organization, and decided to move my family halfway across the country, and really enjoyed learning about that business. And it was also in the beauty business, just a very different model. I enjoyed that, and then got a phone call to come talk with the folks at Ogle Schools. And at the time, I wasn't from Texas. Apparently everybody in Texas knows about Ogle Schools, but I wasn't familiar. And came to North Texas to just, at the time, it was a courtesy visit. I was like, they're a small company. I had tried I had been asked 2 other times to work for beauty schools and turned those down, and never thought I was going to be in the beauty school business. The only reason why I actually got my instructor's license, because on the operational side of salons, I had gotten an instructor license so that I could go into beauty schools and talk to new talent so that I could recruit top talent. And so that's really why I wanted to have my instructor's license, never thinking I would work in the school business. So I came and visited them, and really, I tried not to come. I had a courtesy visit, and then I said, let me come back. Let me look at your best location. Let me look at your worst location. Don't tell me which one. I was trying to find all kinds of excuses and just continue to fall in love with the people, the culture. They were doing great things, and my brain doesn't shut off. So I just, every person that I met, everything I heard, I was like, man, there's opportunity there to either share this with the world, help them do it bigger, maybe refine a process. And here I am 15 years later, and we still, I came on board at 5 locations. We now have 9 locations. And this is actually my longest stint at any one organization, but every day is a different day. I'm having a blast.
Oh my gosh, what a story. Like that's so awesome. And I love that you said that you were kind of trying to talk yourself out of joining Ogle, like trying to find all the reasons. And sometimes those are the opportunities that are just kind of meant to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, I want to circle back on a couple of things that you mentioned. So first, in starting your career at a, value price salon, one where you're focusing on haircuts, seeing a lot of people, would you say that was a benefit for you to start out of beauty school? Because I know we have a lot of beauty school students, soon to be grads that are going to be listening, and kind of talk the difference and how that kind of prepared you for your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when I was in beauty school, I had the opportunity to do some apprenticeship or externships. And so I got to work in high-end salons. And what I realized going to a value price is that, at the end of the day, it's about people and making people feel good. And if they are paying less, your time with them may be shortened. However, quality is important. And the company that I worked for, they had a very efficient process for us to be able to service clients. And I think my first day out of training, I saw 20 clients on the clinic, on the floor, and on the salon floor, and my body hurt. And in retrospect, I'm glad that you asked that question, because the amount of people that I was able to see and hear from, it probably propelled me a lot faster, because if I was only seeing 2 clients a day versus 20 clients in a day, how long is that learning curve going to be? And for me, it was pretty short. So, I was able to, see 100 clients in a week. And I just, each person you're going to learn something new from, even experiences that are not so great, you're going to learn something from.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really glad that you shared that. I think that's a really key point for some of our beauty school students to take away. And whenever they asked you to kind of get into management and start that, you said you were very young, and how did you know to say yes? Like, what made you say yes and take on that additional responsibility?
Well, I think I just didn't know how to say no. I feel like it's to me, it's an honor to be asked to take on responsibility. And so I don't think someone's going to ask you if they don't think that you can do the job. And, at a young age, it can be intimidating. And then you have some people that have been there for a long time, and maybe they're not asked, or maybe they were smart enough to say no. Maybe they said no before. And I will try anything once, and you never know. And I figured, hey, since they asked, what the heck? Let me try it out. If I didn't like it, I could always turn back. But one step led to the next, and I think that's how you get into additional responsibility. I think that's what makes somebody a leader is that you are going to look at opportunities, and you're not going to look at ways to talk yourself out of like, oh, I'm not old enough. I'm not, I'm not ready. Are you ever going to be ready? You got.
Yeah, absolutely not. You really are never going to be ready, especially for those opportunities that are worthwhile. So let's shift gears now to Ogle and that opportunity that is worthwhile. So what is your favorite part of working with all of these schools and students? Let's focus on the students first, because that's the main reason that you're there. So what's the best part?
Sure. Yeah. I think going and talking to students and like seeing myself or seeing anyone else that maybe academically you weren't doing well in school. I actually, one of my older sisters was valedictorian from high school. So, there was some expectation there. And to know that there's a path for you, and everybody's passion is a little bit different. And even though some people may feel like this is not mainstream, you're doing this because you're not great at other things. I know that most people don't want to give up their hairdresser. They don't want to give up their beauty professional. And we saw that in COVID, right? Of how much people were like, oh my gosh, can I go to your house? Can I meet you in the park? Because we have such great impact. And I think there's so many people out there that try to steal your dreams or be pirates, and that's what's chirping in people's ears. And they're there with, they have enough, they're brave enough to get themselves into school. They really need cheerleaders. They need mentorship. They need folks that are going to help kick down doors and help them along the way and build up their confidence. And that's the biggest thing for me, is that they already have a passion for this. I want to throw gasoline on that fire so that they can be so fired up that nothing is going to stop them. And I think that every single person that comes through the door, even those that are like, I don't really even know, because I feel like I was probably that person. I'm like, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I just know that what I just did, I didn't do well and it didn't feel good, but let me try this path. And I think that when somebody finds that just kind of lights their soul and they're on fire about, there's no stopping them. So I just try to encourage, and even though my story may not resonate with everyone, I try to be a connector for all of them and get to know what do they want to do, what are their dreams, because I might know somebody in that space. I might know somebody that's doing it well. I might not know somebody that they can tell them that's their story. So I love getting in and just talking to students and finding out like, why are they there? Or even talking to somebody that I'm trying to shake their hand and they're nervous, and find out about that, and just try to help them have a little more self-confidence, because there's probably no one else that's doing that for them. So that just makes me excited if I could do that all day long.
Yeah. So being a connector, being a cheerleader, those are two words that are great. And I think that our schools need for sure. So that's awesome. I love that. And I'm sure that the students, reciprocate in some way too. They're always, coming in and sharing their celebrations and victories. And so that's awesome. Now, what about your team? Because obviously, gosh, how many people are on the team for Ogle?
We organizationally, we have over 200 staff members. So we have the largest group is our educational staff, because we have part-time, we have full-time, we have subs, we have administrators for the campus, we have student support services roles, we have financial planning, we have admissions, we have people at our campus support center that kind of help behind the scenes. But we're pretty lean in most areas, but clearly we have to staff up from the education side.
Yeah.
And much like anyone that gets into the teaching profession, you do this for the love of teaching and inspiring future generations. So that's, today it's hard anywhere you go, any business. And this is a business. Majority of our team members are on site servicing students, but we have moved some of our staff remote. And so we also have that hybrid work environment. And we also have sometimes people on the education side that kind of go to the administrative side, which we love too, because if you're a licensed professional and you're on that administrative side, that I think that it helps you do your job.
Absolutely. And that's so nice that you have a lot of different options for your team members to kind of take advantage of and build their careers in different ways. So what is like a top takeaway for a listener that you could give to them, or a piece of advice for leadership, maybe for a larger team? What is something that kind of makes your leadership style stand out and effective?
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to borrow this from my leadership professor in my MBA course, because it really was an epiphany for me when he said this. He said, your job as a leader is to remove obstacles. And he said, your job is to go out in and find out what is an obstacle that somebody has. And it's your job to help remove that. And ever since then, it's really what I've been doing. And that to me is really the secret sauce. If you're talking to somebody that's on the front line, what can I do for them to help them do their job either faster, better, easier? What resources? And when you're asking those kind of questions, you'll get the answers, because it's either maybe they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the training, they don't have the support, or maybe they have a great idea. Maybe they have a great idea that we have not implemented, and we should be open to doing it a different way. And I think sometimes leaders, will implement something, and then folks will have a better way, but they'll hide that. They'll say, here's the way I'm supposed to do it, but I've actually found a better way, but I don't really, it's not encouraged to share that and improve the process for everybody. So they're secretly doing it, but now it can impact the rest of the organization. So we really have, for us, we believe in making sure that everybody's open for coaching, but also that means even the leaders are open to be coached as well. And so we are out in the field and we're asking, like, what feedback do you have for us? What can I do differently to help support you? And I think when you do that, your team is going to tell you, what can you do better? Because, they're with the students all the time. They're on campus every single day. So that would be number one. And so,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. And it kind of lends itself to the communication piece and open communication. So how did you learn how to communicate with all of the personalities and dynamics? Is there like an assessment that you guys do? Like, how does it work? How do you?
Yeah. So, well, of course, you have your visual, auditory, kinesthetic. I am actually, my profile says I don't have any ears. I'm like a 2 on auditory. So I'm visual. I'm spatial. I can see something and memorize it, and I'll remember. But if you just said it to me in passing, and then tried to follow up, and I'm like, I don't remember hearing that. I'm like, so most people know if they're going to call me at the end, I'll say, hey, can you send me a text? Can you send me an email follow up? Not because I want you to repeat yourself, but so that I can stay on top of it. But I'm going to borrow something that I've heard from Eric Fisher is 4 times 4 ways. And we really instill that here, as well as that 4 times 4 ways is that telling ain't training. And so sometimes people will say, well, I told them. Well, how did you tell them? Well, I sent an email. Well, when did you send the email? Well, 2 years ago. And so some people prefer email, and that's okay. That might be one way. And then you may, we use Teams, that's popular today, but also now everybody lives on their phone. So you may want to, if it's super important, you may want to send a text message. And now video is popular, and we know, I mean, I like to be innovative in the way that we communicate, but if a lot of our students and staff are on TikTok, let's just, it is what it is. They're on TikTok, they're on their phone, consuming information. I can do a quick video and just say the same thing and reinforce something that they saw in email or a text. And so we really try to make sure that we cover the 4 times, 4 ways. And I think videos, becoming very popular because now you can put captions in it. Like you put captions and you can cover everything, auditory, and visual at the same time. Yep.
Wow, that's brilliant. That's so good. I never really thought of it that way, saying the same message, but in different ways, because I'm a very, visual, verbal, linguistic learner. So I am words, reading, taking notes, all the things. And so, but to have it show up, in a video or in a Zoom call, again, it would really reinforce that message. So I love that. I love that for sure. So let's kind of take a little bit of a turn in. Again, you're in the beauty school space. It's been a wild few years in beauty schools. And I just kind of want to get your opinion, your take on some of the changes within beauty schools, and really more so, where you kind of see the future of beauty schools and the industry going.
Yeah. Well, you may be alluding to like the regulatory challenges. And I remember when I was asked to come to Ogle schools, and the biggest learning curve for me was compliance and regulatory. And I was like, oh, that's a piece of cake. It's actually the hardest part of being in this space is the regulatory and the compliance components, and we know that that's absolutely necessary. But I think we are often subjected to unfair rules and regulations that are not imposed to others in higher education, and we organizationally, we certainly spend money towards battling some of those regulations that we feel like are undue or are not fair for our student body, and that. We can't let that paralyze us. And I, right now is the toughest part is people are like, oh, aren't you worried? And I get phone calls from other schools, like they're calling and they're like, about what are you guys doing about this reg? And honestly, some of them I'm not aware of because, I let our compliance folks and some other folks focus on that so that I can focus on the education piece. And, I love dialoguing with others because, generally we get on and they might be scared. And after conversation, they feel a little bit better because I'm like, look, regardless, this profession's not going away. In the way that we do it may be different. And we can't let that paralyze us. And if you really think about COVID, I had looked at hybrid education, distance education before COVID happened, and really only found one school in the entire country that was doing it well with approval. But look what we were able to do in 1 week's time of closing, rebuilding, and some didn't. We did, and we pivoted really quickly within even hours of scheduling and, pulling your teams together, what we're able to accomplish. And so I can't worry about what I don't know and what we can't see and we don't know where it's going. And if you spend so much time and energy, like you have to spend some time and energy, don't get me wrong, but if you spend all that time, you're going to lose this opportunity time of like making things better for today's student. And while we are worried about tomorrow will come and we'll have plan A, we'll have plan B. But I don't think, this, luckily, this is not going to be outsourced to AI. Like, this is an industry where I heard this from someone, we are in the business where we can physically touch someone, make them feel good, get paid, and it be legal. Right. And it's like, and we have such impact on people's lives that we're starting to see that in a lot of things. Community, people want community. They want real life. They want hands-on. They want to see people. They're tired, of being on Zoom. They're tired of, being in their, casual wear at home. They want to have more connection. And I think we're going to start seeing that because, it certainly is healthy, for the mind. And, I try not to get, I'm a bit of a worrier in general, and I'm trying to do better. Yes. I'm trying to do better with that just in my own life. And I need to focus on the things that I can control. I can't control that. And the more that it consumes me of the frustration with just maybe sometimes laws that don't make sense. I can't get caught up in that. I focus on helping people be successful.
Yeah. I love that. So, you're saying like, yes, think about the future, have those plans, but you use the words, don't let it paralyze you. Focus on the impact that you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's awesome. That's great. I know there's going to be a lot of pieces of information that people take from this, and school leadership, just leaders in general. This I think is really important and impactful stuff that you're providing today, Kim. So thank you. One final question for you though, because I think it's super interesting to ask, but what is your purpose?
Yeah, well, thanks for asking that. I truly want everyone to live their best life. And particularly, I'm passionate about this industry because I know what it's done for me. I know what it's done for others. I know that there is no ceiling on your career path. You can make as much or little money as you want to. Right. And it's just the most fulfilling place to be. And so if I can just help one person be a part of this industry, if I can help one person have, a better career or reach their goals, that's my purpose. I love helping people. And if I look back, when I started in the service industry, I loved it then. I love that every day is a little bit different, and I just get out there and I just find like, how can I help you? How can I serve you and help you reach your goals?
Okay. That's a great purpose, serving others and helping them fulfill their dreams in this industry. So you're doing it well, Kim. You are doing it really well. So I applaud you, of course. Again, thank you so much for your time today. I hope you had fun and enjoyed it. And like I said, there's going to be lots of really good content coming from this session. So thank you so much again.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Making It, the path to beauty industry greatness with Canvas Me. Our mission is to give you a voice, help you find your place of belonging, and empower you to thrive in this beautiful industry. We hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that will fuel your own journey in your career. Head over to canvasme.com and unlock the next chapter of your beauty journey. Create your portfolio, showcase your unique talents, and connect with a community that understands and celebrates your story. Subscribe to Making It for more inspiring stories, and let's continue making it together.